Hello and welcome in the canapé de Bee. When you were a child or a teenager, do you remember watching a movie just for fun or just out of curiosity? Then rediscover it few years later from another angle, like the strange sensation of seeing for the first time. Jonathan came to tell me about this intense mix of emotions that I had the pleasure of welcoming. Make yourself at home, make yourself comfortable, and have a good listening. Hi, Jonathan. How are you doing? And can you introduce yourself?
Yes, hi, I'm doing very well, thank you. Yes, my name is Jonathan Portillo. Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you, too. Can you tell me more about the movie or the series that had an impact in your life?
Yes, so Possession was released in 1981, and I first heard about it maybe around either 2015 or 2016. It was one of the first very weird horror movies that I ever watched. It's one that's it makes you think more, or at least it makes you question more than the average horror movie. That's a little more straightforward, like a slasher film. So when I first watched it, it was just one of the first, just weirdest, and maybe even like just shocking movies that I had ever seen. I had never seen anything like that before. So it stars Sam Neill, who most people probably know him from Jurassic Park, and a French actress by the name of Isabelle Adjani. So pretty much the movie is just about those two people who are married, and they're going through a separation, and they both just kind of lose their minds throughout the whole movie. Yeah, I mean, it was just a really weird movie. I think for anyone who hasn't seen anything like that, they would be pretty freaked out by it.
Yeah, because when I asked you what movie did have an impact in your life, you say to me Possession, and I watched it, and I say, oh my gosh, how is it possible? Because I was so curious about this movie and about your reaction about this movie. So can you give me emotion did it generate in you?
Yeah, so the first time that I watched it, I was just pretty creeped out, and very curious. I had a lot of questions because I didn't really understand, most of it. So I was pretty creeped out by the subway scene, where, Johnny is just having this freak out moment, and she's completely by herself. So she just gives a really crazy performance. I was just really creeped out by that. I was a little freaked out when they show the alien, or like the little creature thing, when she shows it to the detective, because it looked really creepy. Yeah, that was at first, that was just my initial reaction. I was just freaked out by the whole movie and very curious because I wanted to understand the movie, so I had to watch it a couple more times to really grasp the meaning of the movie.
Maybe all couples go through this.
Yeah. I would like you to follow my wife for a few days. My wife doesn't live with me anymore, but she visits. My son.
One mustn't be afraid.
No.
One must speak honestly.
Difficult.
I need some time to think.
Think about what?
To think about me.
No one is good or bad. But if you want, I'm that one.
My whole family.
And do you remember exactly the moment when you watched the first time this movie? You were alone? Where have you been?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I was alone. I don't remember too much. Hopefully, it was at night when this happened. But yeah, I was alone. I was married at that time. But at first I would watch movies alone. Like my wife would be like asleep or doing something else.
And what impact did it have in your life? Can you tell us more?
Yeah, for sure. So, so like I mentioned at first, it was just one of the first very weird movies that I had ever seen. So it opened me up to pretty much movies that don't give everything away when you're first watching it. Because when you watch a movie like Halloween or like Scream, where it's like one figure that's like just killing people, it's not that's a little more straightforward. When you watch a movie like Possession or like The Thing, which came out in 1982, it makes you question exactly what is happening or exactly what is going to happen at the end of the movie or even just during the movie. So after that, I became more interested in like psychological horrors and also like European films. I think European film tends to be a lot better than American movies. I think American movies are more just straightforward. I don't think a lot of thought really goes into the story or like the special effects. So I just really started appreciating European and just foreign films in general a lot more.
Have you ever seen other movie with Isabelle Adjani or not?
No, not yet. I haven't really looked into her filmography that much, because this is, I believe, probably the only horror movie that she has done, or maybe just second one. But no, I haven't been able to seen any of her other movies yet.
Because I recommend The Queen of Margot. This is a really good movie. She was really, really young, but this is a really good movie. And another which is really famous in France, the name is La Journée de la Jupe. And this is really, really good.
Oh, okay, yeah, I'll definitely have to look it up. And excuse me, let me correct myself. Yes, I have seen another one that she comes out in. And it actually is a horror movie as well. It was Werner Herzog's remake of Nosferatu the Vampire. Yes, she was in that one. And she did a really good job. Yeah, it's a remake of the original Nosferatu, and yeah, it was just an extremely good movie.
Okay, right, good. And do you know the context or the circumstances of writing of the movie? Do you know or not?
So yeah, a bit of like details. Like for example, the movie was shot in Germany, in Berlin, when they were separated by the Berlin Wall. which in itself is very interesting because it was kind of used to serve as a metaphor for separation, which is what the movie is about. So I thought that was very interesting. I know that Miss Johnny had to have therapy after the movie was done because of how it affected her. I mean, which is of no surprise because, it was just a very crazy role that she had to do. So I can imagine, the effects that it may have on someone's mind. So she had to have therapy for some time after the film. And the film itself was written kind of or at least it was inspired by the director's own separation and divorce that he went through. So it definitely inspired him to write that story.
And the movie was released in the United States with a cut version.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's right.
With some additional special effects.
Uh-huh.
And I'm not sure, but I think the purpose or the goal is to have a link between the movie The Exorcist or The Curse.
Uh-huh. Oh, okay. I haven't...
I heard something about that, yeah.
Yeah, no, I haven't seen it.
Really?
No, the cut version, no. I wouldn't be surprised if maybe they, deleted some things that they thought maybe were too shocking. Because that tends to happen sometimes with movies.
Yeah. Did you watch again the movie?
Yeah, of course. So I've seen it a couple times since then, and each time I learned something new about it.
Yes, like what, for example?
Well, at least not necessarily learn something new, but I've been able to compare it to my own experiences. Because like I mentioned, when I first watched it, I was married at the time, and years later, I ended up separating and divorcing as well. So when I watched the movie again, I was able to excuse me, what's the word? To understand the characters' decisions a little bit more, and understand the director's own experiences, because whenever you're with a loved one, sometimes there might be jealousy, sometimes there might be fear involved, and especially when you're going through a bad breakup, it just might make people do crazy things or even hurtful things. So I was able to just really take in the movie a lot more. And the last time I watched it, I saw it more as a comedy because
really?
You see, when the director made when the director made the movie, he already knows the characters and the decisions that they're gonna make. And once you go through something like a bad experience, like a divorce, and you actually learn from it, then you know what not to do the second time. So when I watched it the last time, it was this is actually a comedy because if you have already grown as a person or you just simply know better, you'll know not to do something hit someone in the head with a toilet cap or hitting your spouse or just doing something really outrageous like happens in the movie. The best thing to do is just kind of leave that person alone so they can just get over like their feelings, or maybe just, you simply just really do have to get away from this person because they're acting a little crazy.
Yeah. As an adult, I mostly viewed this movie as a drama rather than a horror movie, and especially with the scenes of marital disputes.
Yeah.
Do you remember the first time you watched a movie at a cinema, at the theater, or not?
Probably like yes and no. One of my earliest memories, just ever, is watching Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. If I remember correctly, it came out in 1999. So I was about 2 years old. For some reason, I remember the scene where Anakin's pod racer malfunctions and the aliens are like laughing at him. For some reason, that scene has just stuck in my memory. And it's my earliest memory, really from childhood. So I remember watching that movie and the first Harry Potter as well. I remember, for some reason, I recall the scene where his teacher removes like his head robe, and it's like Voldemort's head or face on the other side. So for some reason, I just remember those two scenes from like childhood.
Do you have any recommendation for a movie or series on this topic?
Yeah, for sure. So when it comes to the topic of like divorce, there is a series that I have. I started watching it. I haven't finished it. But the first episodes were just like very mind blowing because of how natural like the actors are, and just how much you can relate to it. If you have gone through a breakup or a divorce, it's called Scenes from a Marriage, and it's actually a Swedish television show. So when I watched it, it was just a little hard to watch because of my own fears and my own just jealousy at that time. So that one is a pretty good one that I would recommend. When it comes to psychological horror, or just any sort of like horror thriller that makes you think, I'd recommend The Thing, which came out in 1982 by John Carpenter. I think that one is a movie that really makes you question and kind of really has you at the edge of your seat because of how weird and interesting it is. In recent times, I was really proud of The Lighthouse, which came out in 2019, I believe, with Robert Pattinson and Willem Dafoe. I thought they did a really, really good job with that movie. It's very weird. I still have my own questions about it, but I was really freaked out when I watched it. So, yeah, those are the three movies I would recommend.
Okay. And I can add a movie or a TV show, and the name is The Affair. And this is really, really good TV show because this is a point of view of a woman and another point of view of the boy or the guy, the man, but of the same affair. And this is really good.
Okay, thank you. I'll have to check that out.
Yeah. And can you say that the movie Possession is cathartic for you?
Yeah, I would have to definitely say yeah. Because like I mentioned, because of my own experiences, I was able to relate to it a lot. And now that I'm like past those experiences and I've grown up and learned more, you know, I can kind of look back at that and just understand it. And at the same time, not feel those feelings anymore because I understand, and I can maybe help others who are going through such things like that.
Yeah, it's good to know you. So you heal about that, we can say.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, good. Which movie or TV show do you never get tired of watching?
So when I was younger, Saving Private Ryan was a movie that I watched like time and time after again. Mostly just because of the action. It's just a very entertaining movie from start to finish. So for the longest time, I was just watching that one. As of lately, movies that I've seen repeatedly are like Trainspotting by Danny Boyle, 28 Days Later, another movie by him, and The Thing by John Carpenter. Nowadays, I kind of just have like movies like this. If I like get a T-shirt of the movie or some sort of merchandise from it, it's because I really love it. So, I mean, I'll just watch it again and again,
Or
whenever I have time.
being discovered this movie because I discovered Isabelle Adjani in a new role and in a really, really deep and strong role and character and story. And as a woman, or as me, it was cathartic, really. So thank you.
Yes, thank you as well.
That ends what we just say in this podcast.
Yeah, I would say just relief. You're the first person that I've really been able to discuss this movie, so it is relieving to be able to share that, and also just humility. I'm very thankful to be able to be part of your podcast. So again, thank you for having me. I really appreciate the question.
Okay, thank you for being my guest. Yes, thank you very much.
Okay, and thank you as well.